language.
Hey, Ross. Hey, how about you, buddy? Good to see you, man. All right,
Hey,
we're
hey.
just going live right now. Just putting you on 1 second. And that. Here we go. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, you were muted there for a second there, Ross. So that's we weren't hearing any what you just said.
Well, that's not a problem. So, when it comes to something we all have access to and complete control over, there is nothing more powerful than the words we choose to bring forth a specific experience of reality on the mental, emotional, psychological, and even the spiritual level. They've been influencing what you think, how you feel, when you get specific results. In fact, it's like fish constantly surrounded by water. We are surrounded and influenced by words we use, words we hear, and words we think within the privacy of our minds. Imagine if a fish were to figure out how to hack the water matrix. Water matrix. Okay, so but think about that. They are surrounded by a matrix. So that matrix sustained an experience of total growth and evolution. So no matter where it went, who it was with, or what was going on, that liquid environment was always there to serve the fish the way the fish consciously chose it to. So, welcome to our Words and the Worlds They Create series, where for the entire month we delve into the mysteries, the nuances, and the influences that your words have on you and the reality you create. We look into the true beauty and eloquence of a language forgotten, not the languages of law that were lost in time, but rather the proper use and terminology of the lost language of creation. This is the third in this month's series, and if you missed either of the earlier streams, you can get the replay link by joining our private Facebook group. So go to facebook.com/groups/ the Infinity Matrix. Fill out all three of the entry questions, and once you do that, you'll be automatically accepted as a member, and we'll share the website link where you can catch all of our replays all in one spot. It's going to be really cool. Now, as we get into the topic today, why don't you start by telling us in the comments where in the world you're from? And always, we like to make this the fun part of the stream. So, type in your favorite word or phrase that empowers the creator within you. Quick, 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 fast, fast. Let's do it. Okay. The first thing that comes to your mind is generally going to be the most powerful and the one that means the most to you.
Yeah, the funny thing is that most people are so conditioned to pull up negative or disempowering words that sometimes it really is hard for them to generate an empowering one when they're put on the spot. So think it over if you need to, and definitely, if you can get something that pops up right away, go ahead and put it in. But if you need to think about it and allow it to bubble up, if you will, go ahead and put it into the chat, and you may just surprise yourself and possibly even inspire someone else when you share it in the comments. So go ahead and do that. Hey everyone, welcome to the stream today. In this stream, we are going to experience the power and the impact of even small shifts in the words you use, so that you can use them to set you on a path of empowerment and enlightenment. Okay? I know it's a tall order and a tall promise, but even the smallest buildings have to rely on the tallest buildings have to rely on the small material to reach to the skies. So they shouldn't be overlooked. All right. If we encourage even one of you today to begin to think consciously about the words you spew unconsciously from your mouth on a regular basis, then we'll know we've made a difference in the world today, because the energetic qualities, okay, of that all words can have may be impacting you on a variety of levels.
Indeed.
Right? So we know that the function of our nervous system is intimately and intricately intertwined with the words we use on a moment-to-moment basis, whether that's verbally or internally through thoughts, okay, or internal dialogue. It's those words that are repeated to the point of becoming unconscious in our daily communications that are organized in a way that influences every aspect of your world's reality that you experience. So I want to play a little word association here, if you could play with me here today. In the comments section, I want you to go ahead and enter what comes up for you when I say the word weak. Go ahead. And I believe I've done this in a previous stream, but I think it comes back here and it's going to be relevant. So the word weak. The first thing that comes up without any additional information, if I just give you the word weak, what's the first thing that pops up for you? And association, word, phrase, comment, feeling, emotion, anything. Weak. Just the word weak. And I'll get back to the importance of this later in the stream. So go ahead and enter it for now so we can come back and refer to it. Awesome. We got some good stuff. Nice. Good. Good. So the first thing, the word is weak.
That's it. So think of it like this. We as the race of humanity have been immersed within realities of our own making for eons. Not the same realities, not with the same outcomes, but all with one constant we can count on. We are the heralds of creation. We are solely responsible for our one reality, our single thread being woven and intertwined with the billions of other threads, crafting the celestial tapestry of a prime design. Our thoughts, images, sounds, and our words change and manipulate the reality that we exist in, thus influencing the entire scope of shared reality throughout the universe. Yeah, we are that powerful. And if you don't know that by now, hang on. It's akin to the butterfly effect of chaos theory, where the gentle flap of a butterfly's wings here can have a profound effect on the growing hurricane on the other side of the globe. With its minute contribution, in conjunction with a billion more collaborations, a billion tiny murmurs of the air becoming so, or they're all contributing to an incredibly destructive force on the planet.
Yeah. So here's where some of that internal conflict and turmoil can come from. Many languages have this thing called ambiguity in words, phrases, and even in sentences. Basically, it means that there are many words that represent more than one meaning. Okay, and in and of itself, not such a big deal. But when what has to happen on a neurological level is that your unconscious mind has to take in that bit of language and run through all possible meanings that it could have.
Yeah.
Then, based on all those options, it decides on which one is the most relevant, pertinent, and or likely to be the meaning of the communication. So if I were to say the word red, you have to process the color, including all of its shades, okay, and at an unfathomable speed. You are also running scenarios scenarios and considering if the past tense of the word read is what I'm talking about. he read the book. Is the book read? Did he read it? Right? So every possible concept of reading in the past is also presented as an option. Not to mention if you have any personal reference to the actual letters involved in spelling the words. And then finally, in a nanosecond of time, come to a conclusion of which meaning was intended to be delivered when I said the word read. And that's just at the neurological level. While you're doing all that, there's a physiological impact based on the definitions and emotions attached that you have to either of those words read, color, or read, past tense reading. And this is the butterfly effect that Ross is talking about on a quantum level. And that's just one word with one ambiguity. Right? Most languages are full of ambiguities, and it's a miracle that we can even get across a bit of communication with any level of accuracy. So I'd like to jump back to the word that I asked you to wordplay association with earlier. All right. So weak, and a bunch of them came up definition. So let's see what we had. Lack of strength. We had where'd it go here? There we go. Weak as in 7 days. We have weak, W-E-A-K and W-E-E-K, feeling drained. Weak equals undesirable and sad. Weak and focus. So yeah, so great. Awesome. You guys are doing awesome there. So yeah, so all those different meanings, right? So you can see how a storm was created by just one word. So many different meanings. And if you didn't put someone else's meanings down, but you can understand it, it means you ran through that as an option, but that's not the one you decided on when you put it on in the chat. Okay, so it doesn't mean you were excluded, that you excluded it. It just means it wasn't one you chose. If you understand and you can see how the word they put down relates to the word. Okay, and having varying degrees, so many different meanings, right? All having varying degrees of emotions attached, which we know, if repeated, creates an internal habitual program right down to your genetics. Right? It's all of what biology belief it talks about in epigenetics, right? Sure, it doesn't happen as a direct A to B correlation, but over time, with repetition, with intensity, with variety, it influences your reality. Right? Now, I'm not done with this word weak just yet. I'll get back to it a little bit later.
Trust me, he's not done with it. So while each of us suffers from our own butterfly effect, our own chaos theory, which isn't so much a theory in the particular context that we're presenting it. For the silent wings flapping within the dark realm of our mind, they're so small, they're so innocent, so beautiful, and yet the loudest, most powerful force on earth. The thoughts whispering, A, E, I, O, U. And then combined with any combination of 21 other sounds, creates what reality for you? For instance, here's just some examples. Do you use words like A, appreciate, E, eloquent, I, incredible, O, opportunity, or U, universe? Because yet again, we stand on the edge of our coin of duality and choice, where you probably also use words like A, anxious, E, ego, I, idiot, O, obnoxious, or U, unbelievable. Keep it in mind, regardless of which side of the coin you choose from, they can still have power. They still have an effect. Not the same effect, but an effect nevertheless. So if we look at the work of Joe Dispenza, he says, when it comes time to change, the redundancy of that cycle becomes a subconscious program. So now 95% of who we are by the time we're 35 years old is a memorized set of behaviors, emotional reactions, unconscious habits, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions that function like a computer program. And they're all associated. Pay attention here, write this down. They are all associated with the words you tell yourself. That's it right there. And if you're telling yourself certain disempowering, negative, limiting things, where, who, or what taught them to you?
Yeah, and there's the billion-dollar question.
I got $1 billion? All right.
I mean, when you think about it, right, how do you know what kind of meaning you should give to the words that you know?
Or are giving, yeah.
Right? And did a teacher tell you what they meant and you accepted that as was? Did you look it up in a dictionary and you thought, no, that makes sense and I'll adopt that or I'll take that on? Or did you hear it from someone in media that had some level of influence, or and you thought that, oh, okay, well, that's got to be true because that person said it or presented in that way? If all the words you know, right, all the signs, all the symbols you see were spoon-fed to you, then how can you truly choose a reality that is yours? Think about it. I mean, did you ever wonder? I mean, I know I do. I wonder a lot of things, but did you ever wonder, what did something mean before it had meaning that it has now? Like red, before it was given, before it was programmed into our lexicon, our language, and our before it was programmed into our societal understanding with the meanings that it has now, what did it mean before that? Did it not exist? Because if it doesn't have definition, how could it exist? Right? And if you could go back and recode the matrix from a place of infinite choice, what would you change about it? What would you alter or adjust so that those signs, those symbols, those words have a more customized and empowered meaning that speaks directly to you? And in essence,
this is pretty much what we're covering in the art of designing your reality.
Exactly, right? So in the art of designing reality, that's what we break down so that you're empowered by using what's currently existing as a code for reality, and give you the capacity and the ability to assess it and alter and adjust and tweak it if you feel you need to and when you want to, so that it starts to respond back to you in more empowering, meaningful, and customized ways. And that's how you really, truly, fully hack the matrix. And, I really want to shake things up for you today, if we haven't already done so. All right. So playing with the words is one of my most favorite geeky things to do. Okay. Right? Okay. Because they can have such impact, right? They can have such impact for myself as well as others. And so what I do is I consciously put my attention on all possible meanings that I'm aware of. Then I think back and consider, where and how did I get those meanings? Right? And then if I believe the meaning no longer serves me, I actually let it go, change, or add to it so that it does serve me. Okay, now, to flap that butterfly wing that Ross was talking about earlier in your mind, Let me tell you what I do when I say or hear the phrase days of the week. All right, I'm going to break this down. So, first of all, you all saw how many meanings came up for just the word week in that first in that first exercise, right? That I asked for earlier, right? So, in that phrase, the word week is the end. So it has all those different meanings, and the ones that you didn't put on the in the chat are also there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but let's break down the structure of this particular phrase. In order to construct and understand this, right, and an unconscious mind has to look at the whole thing as one. Days of the week. It looks at the whole thing of as one, and it looks at it in sections. So word by word, even letter by letter, right? Has to look at all of the aspects of it. So it looks at it in sections, and it looks at it individually. And as a whole, there's a massive ambiguity. On one hand, right, we've been taught that days can equal, as some has mentioned in the chat, 7 days on the calendar, Monday through Sunday, right? Then when those words are in this sequence, we've been taught that days of, right, is a descriptor of the week. So days of the week. So it's in other words, it belongs to the week. Right? Okay. Of course, you're not thinking this consciously, but your unconscious mind has to process this stuff. And if at unconscious levels we're rehearsing things, we're getting that impact right down to the cellular structure. Now, remember that to understand the words or phrases, we have to run all possibilities. And each time we are creating neural pathways, which over time influence even our genetics. So here's what's on the other hand. Days is ambiguous and could mean Monday through Sunday, but also could mean out of it or in a trance of some sorts, right? So DAZE or Z if you're in the States, right?
That was for me.
Right, so DAZE, right, is daze. Someone's dazed, right? And so which would mean it's turned into a process of being dazed and of the week, right? Of the week coming after that also has the meaning of weak, whimper, like the less than strong or disempowered or all those other, not just 7 days, but the other meanings. Because the weak also becomes a noun, a person, or persons, place, or thing. So who are the weak in this sentence? Days of the week. Who's the weak? Who are these? Who's this set of people called the weak? Right? Who are they? So some time ago, it's almost like someone was having some fun at our expense, got us to conditioned into thinking, right? And having as a normal everyday conversation, oh, it's no big deal to take on the identity of the weak, and we are always in a daze or trance. Right? Like I said, I've talked about this in previous episodes, but I think if we were to really take conscious responsibility for the words we use and consider all possible implications those words can have in our experience of reality, then we could step into a more choiceful place and make the changes in the matrix coding that would serve us in a much more customized and personalized way, while still retaining the collective acceptance and definitions for those times when it would serve us. I'm not discarding it. I'm just saying, okay, for me, I understand what other people think that it means, but I also understand the impact that it's having on them without them knowing it, because I know that happens for me. So the transformation that I make when I say or hear that phrase, days of the week, internally, I take on the experience of being in a peak trance state for days, and I immediately change the identity to include myself in a collective called the strong instead of the weak. So for me, it comes out and I experience it. Even it's not in my words that I say, because I understand that it's too bizarre to talk to people that way. And you get trust me, I've tried it, and you get some funny looks, right? So for me, when people say days of the week, I see it as days of the strong, because that's what I process. Right? That's how I can choose to have different things when I come to realization that they weren't serving me or empowering me. And remember that language serves as a means to represent or create a structure to our experiences, and also as a tool to communicate and share that reality with others. In fact, the ancient Greeks understood this and had two terms to describe the uses of language. One was rima or rema, I'm not sure how they pronounce it, but Rhema, right? Which described when words were used for the purpose of communication, and logos for words that were about thinking and understanding. And in essence, words can both reflect and shape our experiences of reality. So the more versatility you have in the words you use, especially the words you use most often, the more flexible your reflection of and ability to shape reality becomes.
Kind of makes you want to go back to hieroglyphics, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
So let me ask you all, do you have a relative, a coworker, or a friend who just simply can't get their act together and doesn't hesitate to tell you every detail, every day, on and on and on? And at first you were kind of like, meh, that's just their reality. Then it becomes uncomfortable and ultimately annoying. And then you started to agree with them. Do you notice that a half hour to an hour of the daily news leaves you empty and weak and disempowered, with kind of a sense of why bother attitude? And the pool of words circulating amongst the broadcasters seems to be the same, or if not similar. But it doesn't stop there if you stay plugged into that particular matrix experience. Social media can cause attention headache, and just stomach aches, and a sense of, in my case, bewilderment, and perhaps a loss of confidence in humanity. Have you so convinced yourself that you are unworthy, becoming sucked into that echo chamber of negativity, needing the next dopamine hit? You understand what I just said? Your want, your need, and reaction to external influences cause a physical internal response within your body. It has become so ingrained in you that you are having biological reactions to the words you are being exposed to.
So essentially, you're a bunch of druggies.
Dopamine is the feel-good drug,
Yeah.
and your body is the only thing that creates it. But now it's craving it, telling you to create more of the situations, more of the scenarios, so that it can create more of the neurochemical that it's become accustomed to. Or perhaps addicted to. This is a very simplified version of this because this gets deeper and deeper. We just don't have a day on the internet to do it. So, with this in mind, you still continue to engage all of these without dissecting and making changes or adjustments like Gary was just demonstrating. Then you'll be allowing external factors to worm into your mind, your body, and your spirit, eating, devouring, and eroding the greatest asset you will ever have, that which makes you a unique, self-evolving life force, which is you and your ability to create. The evidence is ever growing, showing that training the mind or inducing certain modes of consciousness can have a positive health effects. Mind, health effects. Mind, health effects. Yeah, there's a correlation. We can dive into this even more on Saturday's Down the Rabbit Hole episode 2, which is really, if you haven't jumped in, I mean, it's growing. Lots of people are just jumping on. Go to hackingtheinfinitymatrix.com/rabbit hole, register for the Zoom link, and come see us on Saturday. It's 8 a.m. Pacific time. And we go into a lot of the details that we talked about today, even more on that. But you also have the ability to interact, ask questions, and such. So when it comes to inducing certain modes of consciousness for positive mind health effects, researchers still don't fully understand these effects on the body. But they know this. When comparing a group of experienced meditators to a group of untrained control subjects, after 8 hours, the meditators showed a significant genetic and molecular differences, altered levels of gene regulating, and reduced levels of pro-inflammatory genes. That was one day. And according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, he says gene activity can change on a daily basis. If the perception in your mind is reflected in the chemistry of your body, and if your nervous system reads and interprets the environment and then controls the blood chemistry, then you can literally change the fate of your cells by altering your thoughts. So with this in mind, what is your choice for a new vocabulary? And which tapestry are you going to begin weaving for yourself?
Yeah, when you think about it, literally change the fate of your cells by altering your thoughts, which are comprised of words.
Words.
Right? And by now, you probably already know that in order to commit to mastering the art of designing your reality, you might first have to try to resist the urges of your biological conditioning. And the more you listen to our live streams, the more you participate, practice and implement what you learn, the easier the decision will be when the time comes. Can you imagine having the ability to utilize everything, anything in your environment to encourage your greatest authentic self? I mean, you can see yourself fully committed to the emergence of your creator within, can you not? Think about it. What happens when you are able to step into your choice convergence point, make the right choices for your personal evolution? Sooner or later, you and no one else has to come to that place of deciding on the future reality you want to claim. In fact, there will come a time when you will be able to look back and know that decisions you make now and in the near future are destined to show up as the end results of those butterfly flutters you invite as new experiences. So start with putting your attention on the words that you use, the meanings you give them, and the impact or effect they're having on you. And in our final stream in this series, next Thursday, on Words Have Power, we will be sharing some powerful and fun infinity hacks to strengthen your usage of words to directly influence the reality you experience. So it's going to be very experiential. We're going to give you some tangible stuff to take away, to apply, to use, to test, and to share with others if you choose to. This is an episode that you are going to want to attend. So block it off. Next Thursday, same time, same place. All right. Hit the get reminder button when we post the scheduled post, and then that way you'll get reminders and you won't miss out on it. Right. And join us and be ready to participate. Remember, you can also join us, as Ross mentioned, on Saturday at 8 a.m. PST by registering for the Zoom link. It's running along the bottom here, hackingtheinfinitymatrix.com/rabbit hole, and you'll get the Zoom link in your inbox. It's a free 1 hour, sometimes we run over an hour, but it's a free Saturday morning conversation. It's tons of fun. Everyone is welcome, and no topic is taboo. We'll talk about whatever, whenever, and however. So it's a fun way to expand our collective consciousness and communication with one another. All right. So that's our show for today, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Please note that there are some big improvements coming in the next few weeks. Exciting stuff that we'll share as soon as we can, because our intention is to help to make 2022 a year filled with joy and celebration, health, and even abundance. Right. So we dare you to be exceptional and implement what you learn on our streams so you can master the art of designing your reality. Be well, everyone. Till next time.
Thank you. Thank you.